And we are live.
Welcome, everybody.
Hello again.
This is the third session, not episode, I guess. Third session of the Lore Masters Nook, where we are doing campaign recaps. This one will be part 2. We got through episodes 1 through 17 last time. So the goal is to make it through episodes 18 to 30 tonight, if at all possible. We do have 31 that we can talk about, which was the last episode, which I'm not going to give it away. Go watch it. It's well worth the watch. I don't want to ruin the surprise. There's a surprise in that episode, right? I mean, it was jaw dropping for everybody on the stream. It was an amazing surprise. And, little bards, man. Little bards is all I'm going to say. So, let's step up as we finished up episode 17. That's where Nenny and Simbir were able to come back from the astral plane. Again, one of my favorite back-to-back sessions we had with the astral plane. So, as well as with Theron's hallucination, right? So, episode 18, Lord Kyrus finally arrives to get Lady Yanilla, and that's the one thing I didn't talk about, is the group that was left, which was Godorak, Theron, and Kyrus, thought it best to send Kyrus to Yanilla because he's about the only one that she would listen to or willingly leave to come and rescue. Right? He could sweet talk her into it, and so he arrives at her little hut in the academy. There's a lot of sexual flirting going on there, right? So Yanilla, Kyrus flirting away, but then he asks her for her true heart. And if you guys remember in the past, Lady Yanilla is drowned. And so so she calls upon the power and summons a very powerful demon. And literally,
Yanilla does?
Yeah, she did. She summoned a demon and asked it to help to find where Nenny and Simbir went, right? Because they were gone. And then he was really concerned about the nonchalant way that the lady and the demon spoke to each other. It freaked him out a little bit because there was some definite power there. But as Yanilla and Kyrus arrive at the lakeside, the Nenny and Simbir had already come back from the astral plane. So everybody here, this was it wasn't a short. It was about almost a 2-hour session, but it went quick with the role playing and everything else. But there was a lot of fun there towards the end where the party decided to blow off some steam at the Riverwalk Inn. Nenny then outdrank everybody. Everybody passed out, and ended up writing a letter to Lord Kyrus, and he was going to bug out. Nenny was going to leave the party because there is some danger going on, and he didn't want to be responsible. But also because of what he found out in the astral plane from Rosa.
Oh, his sister?
Yeah, his sister.
Yeah.
he was on the hunt for his dad. Um, he tried to discuss. He I'm not gonna say try. He had a discussion with Abakai at her shrine, and she managed to convince him to stay. Literally said, "They need you. Like you're a key cog to their wheel here." And uh, I don't want to say begrudgingly because he knew that it's where he needed to be, but he wants to solve the issues with dad,
Mhm.
right? So he's got Nenny has daddy issues. That's slightly crazy guy. He's got daddy issues,
Hmm.
and Scott's watching, so he's hearing me tell that Nenny has daddy issues. Um, so that ended chapter, well, not chapter, but episode 18. Now, as we roll into um, episode 19,
Mhm.
the party wakes up. Everybody finds an invite to the Guild Day Parade. Theron ended up donating some money to the Brotherhood of Itis. And then um, Kyrus was absent again. And they don't know why. They couldn't wake him up. He was still sleeping, had a sock, kind of sock on the door type thing where everybody but Nanny was like cognizant of the fact that Kyrus was getting some, right? He was
Right.
getting busy. But while he was doing that, the group decided to head off to the haunted house at Godorak further down.
That's right.
Few episodes in the past, right?
Mhm.
So this is where they go to find out why.
Sorry, I'm having a flashback.
Yeah, why the episode's being haunted, right? So why is this haunted house being that kind of scenario? So there's some crazy battling that took place within the haunted house, right? You guys, uh,
Those damn rugs.
rugs kept wrapping people up. I think you got wrapped up.
I got wrapped
Stabbed.
up a couple times. At the
Yeah,
end there, yeah, they were like pin cushioning the rug with me in it, with
yeah.
Godorak in it.
That was like some beard in his greatest, right? He was
Oh
stabbing
yeah,
people.
yeah. I
Like,
came
get
out
it?
with like a couple hit points left, I think, at the end. I
Yeah,
was like, no, just keep hitting it.
yeah. Just take it down.
Yeah.
And the awesome part was the flying knives too, right? Those
Mhm.
were pretty cool. So battling the flying knives. Yeah, Kyrus was on his date. That's right. He went on a
Mhm.
date with the lady
Yeah.
that Nenny arm
That's
wrestled
right.
with.
That's right.
That's right. That was that hot date that he went on. That's right. Yeah. So that's where Kyrus was at. So that was the discussions and talk at the beginning led into the
Mhm.
back to the inn, and then the inn that Godorak was talked to the guy. Then they went to the haunted
Oh, it was
house.
with Alice. The
Yes, he
date.
went on the Alice,
Ah, that's right.
the lady with no hair that was beautiful. Like it, I didn't want to role play it because
Yeah,
I don't want to.
yeah,
Just have a hard time role playing those kind of scenes. But
yeah.
she had like a charisma 16 or 17. I have to find the character she got created for.
You know a trick for any of you DMs out there, by the way, young DMs. You don't want to, if you're not comfortable like assuming a character, right? Like, a lot of guys have trouble role playing girls and vice versa. When you're DM, you have to do both kind of role playing things in third person, where it's like, okay, well, she does this, well, she does that. So you're not actually like, oh, Kyrus. Like, yeah, it
I could
helps.
do that
It
to no
helps.
other. In
Yeah.
fact, Kyrus and I could have probably gotten this banned, right, with how we could have done that
Uh
because we have
huh.
that familiarity with each other.
You guys known
And
each other for decades, yeah.
yeah, we could have definitely gotten us in trouble with
Over 300. There we go.
We back?
Yep, we're back. Everybody hit refresh.
Yep. All right. God knows what happened.
Cool.
All right. Oh, I love it. He's not like this. I loved it. Not like this. All right. So that was where we finished. At the behind. It was behind the haunted house is where we finished.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 19.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
As we segue into episode 20,
The well.
Party battles another shambling mound. This time without Lord Kairos. But you've leveled up. The party had leveled up since the last battle.
That's right.
It was a pretty sweet battle. It went quickly. The shambling mound didn't do anything like the last one did to the group. And then
I think we burned it down pretty quick, didn't we?
Yeah, you guys, it went down in less than I think it was 2 rounds, and that was it.
Yeah.
Was done.
Did it even get to attack anybody?
It attacked and it missed.
Yeah.
That I was rolling horrible that night. It missed everybody it attacked. And I think Nenny was the one that got up close. Godrak stayed away and did his thing.
Did my thing.
So you guys collected the dead inanimate objects. Everybody took it back to the tavern, sold them back to the guy. But as you met Lord Kairos back at the Riverwalk Inn, and his world got dumped on its head.
Yeah.
As a half-orc captain from his mom's army shows up and tells him his mother's dead.
Yeah, this is when plot starts to get good in this campaign.
Yep.
Like it was already good, but this is when it gets really good. I feel like the main plot got engaged right about now.
Oh yeah. And everybody starts talking. You got to go save his mom, and so, but he's kind of like standoffish in regards to it because he's not a mama's boy. He's not happy with what's going on in his world over there, right? So everybody's trying to figure out how long is it going to take us, how are we going to get there, kind of that entire scenario, and a lot of discussion happens. And as things are figured out, Nenny wanted to stay for the parade, right? That was Nenny's big thing. He was like, I want the parade.
Mm-hmm.
And Kairos is like, hey, yep, see, look, Nenny
do you want me
not everybody wanted to go right away.
That's
so
right.
Everybody wanted to wait a week.
Yeah.
Some people wanted to wait for the parade, right? And so others wanted to go right away because of how it was painted about his mother. All said and done, Kairos talked Nenny into going, basically saying, think about the parades that we're gonna get when you help a guy become a king, right? So that's kind of how that piece happened, and everybody went to bed. Oh yeah, and Godrak had to get his plate mail too. That was the other.
Yeah, that was the bit. I was like, wait a minute, I just spent like 1,200 gold on plate mail.
Yep.
Little did I know.
And then the letter that Kairos wrote to Yanilla was pretty epic.
Because there's,
my beloved Yanilla,
yeah.
Though it pains me to deliver this message by courier, I must, unfortunately, take my leave. Apparently, my mother's kingdom is in peril, and I am required to bring my devoted followers to her rescue. It will be dangerous, but if you and your demons can continue to be of assistance, I will be able to offer haughty, horrible elves for your summoned master slaughter. It should be fun. Until our lips press together again, your devoted servant, Kairos. Right?
Do me a favor. There was a map towards the end of that episode.
Oh yeah.
That we were looking at that is not, I think it's a panel in Roll20. Can you pull that up? I wanna show it on the
screen share?
No, just if you open up Roll20.
Oh yeah, let me see if it's in there.
and just flag it. Yeah, if it's not, go ahead and screen share. Well, screen share might
This
mess
should.
things
I
up.
don't think I deleted it. Let me. I think I deleted it. It's the roll 20 is getting mighty
Oh,
unwieldy with the
with the
amount
amount
of
of
maps
stuff,
I have in there.
you're gonna have like a part 2 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't want to delete some things because I think it ties to some of the. Actually,
Yeah.
I changed out your guys' tokens, so you should.
Yeah, it was this map. If you're looking at the stream, it was this thing.
That's what I was looking at. So
Yeah.
before I put it. Let's see here. I think.
Because yeah, then the craziness happened that night. I remember.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. That's gonna be probably our longest talk tonight because we tried to record discussion post game of that night. There you go. I just
There it
tagged
is.
it. So.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes.
So this is what the debate was about, and about how long the trip is. So if you zoom in on that, if you can, up towards Stoneland. Yep, right where that blue dot's at. So that blue dot is Edelhill, which is the port city. And the group is up at the edge of that mountain, the base of that mountain right there on that blue dot. And they have to travel down to the
coast,
kind of the edge of that blue dot. And then if you zoom out, they needed to travel by boat all the way over to Navreen, right there, that center island. So that is where everybody needed to go. And that's where all that heavy, haughty discussion was taking place. Is like, hey, it's going to take us this long. It's going to take us this long to get there. Why? What's a week going to do? Type scenario. And that battle, and that kind of happened.
We were thinking about flying on like hippogriffs or griffins or something like that.
Figure out how you could get the hippogriffs to take you over there. All that different scenario.
We're gonna have the plate mail shipped. Like,
yeah, the plate mail was gonna get shipped. All that fun stuff. Now, as everybody goes to bed, they go to bed knowing that war is now on the horizon. And here we go. This is where we get crazy. The next 2 episodes. So everybody was in their beds from a night. This is episode 21 now.
Yeah.
So everybody was resting in their beds from a night of drinking and the news to having to head out to the islands in the morning. What happened is they ended up in the dream plane again. But there was 2 people that appeared there with them.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, shoot. Hold on here. Let me go back. I hit the wrong button.
No, you're good. I'm looking at replays too, so.
Yeah, let me hit this. We have Myrtle has joined us as well to pay attention to the story.
Nice.
So they did end up in the dream plane again. This time there was Lady Durana appears, and then there was another gentleman that appeared. Nobody knew who he was or anything else. As the discussion was happening, and the view that the party got, Durana was a rolling mass of black and red. They kept kind of rolling that way. And then the other guy was kind of bright, vivid, and kind of gold and silver and showing up that way. And then Durana then shapeshifted into a crazy tiger woman.
Rakasha?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here.
And there were 2 imps that she summoned, as well as an Ares eventually. Araness. In the battle, Nenny, which This upset Nanny big time. He got banished from the dream plane.
Rakshasa.
There we go.
Yep. And he got banished by the dream plane by her, and then everybody else ended up defeating her and the imps and the Aryani.
Yeah,
Arian.
Nenny woke up, right?
Yep, and he woke up. When he got banished, he woke up and he started looking. So he was kicking doors open and looking.
In the inn, he woke up in the inn, and like, yeah, he was like, well, because I forget. Well, Scott's listening. Well, Nenny was freaking out because he didn't see Kyrus in the dream, or I forget.
Yeah, Kyrus was not in the dream.
Yeah.
That was one person that was not in the dream, Kyrus. And Nenny was a little freaking out about it. And so he's kicking open doors, trying to figure things out. He couldn't get into Kyrus's room. As everything was being searched, everybody found Irana's room, right? And it appears like something had burst out of her chest, right?
Oh, that's right. Like alien style, just
alien style, right? Just blood and gore all over the walls. Something like exploded out of her. And the gentleman from the dream plane was here, and the group met him. His name's Galley. And this is where Galley began kind of like inserting himself into everything, because he had heard the group discuss Lord Kyrus. And as everybody kind of rushed to Lord Kyrus' room, they find him floating and bound in his room. And that was the end of episode 21. Then we roll into episode 22. So
that's when the sock was on the door.
The group, this is where chaos happens, right? So let me pull up D&D Beyond.
Okay.
And
you want to switch it to the scene?
No.
What are you thinking?
I know the priest. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Okay. So this is one of my favorite. We've had a lot of favorite moments leading up into here, right? This battle and how this battle came about ended up being one of my favorite moments, because the prior episode we introduced Sean to the group, to everybody. So Sean joined the group in episode 21, and his character Galley. And my golf putter fell on me. That's weird. Yeah, Nenny had the door was blocked and locked. Nobody could pick the lock. Nenny had to run around and break the window to get into Lord Kyrus' room. They finally got in. Everybody got in, saw this happen. So the rest of the group starts going back, and I forgot why the split up, but I do know Galley and Godorak ended up in the hallway outside of Galley's room. At this point in time, a little girl opened the door. And the little girl was maybe 8 years old.
Yeah.
Golden curls. Oh, feed again. Okay, golden.
No, we're good.
Curls. Kind of a dirty pink dress and a teddy bear. She's looking at Galley and Godorak. She's blind. Galley could tell she was blind. And the battle, they've heard noises, screaming, things were happening at this point in time. Remember, some of the group took damage in the dream world that carried over with them here, right?
Yep.
Godorak being one of them. So that's something that was shocking. And so
Is
everybody
that
was
where Godorak
excited.
got cursed? Is that where he got cursed?
Yeah,
No.
that's where he got
Yeah.
cursed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That lingered for
So,
like 6 episodes. It was so unfortunate.
oh yeah. And this this was my this is where Gally is talking to Go. She opens the door and she looks around, and there's a person laying on the bed in the room, an older bald-headed person laying on bed, and it just tells her to close the door because it's dangerous out there. And things are kind of quiet, and people they're looking in there. Gally is, and he, to protect her or to protect him, nobody really knows why, but he started for erect kind of a protection versus evil incense, started going that route.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the blonde haired, oh, it was her statement where she turned back to the old man and said, no, no, I'm not going to get hurt. He smells nice, right? And that freaked Gally out.
Yeah.
And so he starts to light this thing, uh, incense and everything else, and
The other guy, the
she
old
starts
guy.
singing
Yeah.
"Rockabye Baby," right? And when the cradle fell and she threw the teddy bear and knocked over his incense and everything else, he freaked and he hit her with a light.
Who did?
Galley.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yep. He hit her with a lightning bolt. And this is where things got crazy. The party was introduced to Innocence. And
Innocence is the little girl, right?
the Innocence was a little girl. And she wrecked some havoc, right? Um, as well as the old man. And they we'll go back to Innocence and the old man and start talking about this, but this was probably a good combo to pull out on the group, because they're growing in power. They're a little sneaky in how they handle their combat. They do things, and so I had to throw something a little freaky at them here. And you've got Kyrus incapacitated in a room. Nenny telling Simbir to go get everybody. You got this Innocence that once she got hit with a lightning bolt, think of think of a think of Grudge mixed with Doc Ock, right? Multiple tentacles holding multiple daggers that's able to Misty Step at will, right? And doing so you've got the Grudge girl with the hair hanging down, or the girl from the ring, and she's got basically 4 extra tentacles coming out of her back, right? That's Innocent. And then the other man, once he comes out, he's carrying a large sword. He's bald headed and tattooed, and starts yelling for Kyrus, right? So imagine that happening as Gally's fleeing, running from this creature that just came out, right?
Yep.
Godorak's going, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
Ran up to fight the bald-headed guy.
Because he sees Gally lightning bolt a little girl. Like,
yeah. Like, what's going on? And Godorak didn't see her, like, Misty Step behind Gally in the foyer. And Gally just books it out. He's like, I'm out of here. And he runs. You've got Godorak moving up, and it's the first and so far only battle that Godorak ever grappled and went hand to hand with somebody.
Yep.
Right. So we've got that, and you've got Innocence battling it out with people. And the reality is, the old man's a priest of Osiris.
A what?
And
the old man's a what? Lost you.
Priest of Osiris.
Ah.
So that's where I got his, and the priest of Osiris are really unique, because when they die, they really don't die. They kind of come back. So they get half hit points and they come back. There's a chart I get a roll on it which iteration of the priest comes back. The only time he dies is if I roll that same iteration again, right? So they have the ability to have um six, I think, 6 or 7 iterations. I'm not looking at D&D Beyond about that.
Oh, Priest of
So
Ozibus.
yeah, and so um he was a battle for Godorak, right? So that was
Hmm.
the fight there. Meanwhile, Nenny's in Lord Kyrus's room.
Which one was it? Deathly or Blazing or?
Started out as Deathly,
Okay.
and then he rolled through 3 other iterations. So one of them was Blazing. What are the iterations?
Blazing Dread,
Dread. It was Blazing Dread. Started out as Deathly.
Ectoplasmic, Vampire, Spectral.
Vampiric. So he went through. He started out as Deadly, went to Blazing, then went to Dread, then went to Vampiric, and he killed him at the end of it.
Nice.
So
Here, don't pull away from your mic because we're losing you when you do. You might want to.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
No worries. I gotta readjust. There we go. That's probably better.
Cool.
My mic stand's loose. It's the bolts are actually starting to become strips.
Yes.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's way better. There we go.
All right. So, yeah. So he went through like 3 iterations. I remember the 4th iteration I rolled was Dread again. So he died. Meanwhile, Nenny's in Kyrus's room and he gets a familiar voice. And the closet from episode 3 or 1 or 2, whatever that one of the very beginning episodes, reappears in the room with another. So Nenny ends up.
From the cave where the dwarf died.
From the where the dwarf died.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is good for me too to do the recap because it's filling in some blanks. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he hears that. He realizes who it is. He's talking to it, telling him to leave everybody alone. And the thing's going, nah, I'm enjoying this type scenario. So Nenny ends up getting in a battle and he fights 2 closets by himself and takes them both out. What that does is then he breaks the bond, the thing he finds the medallion, which I think he still has, or he may have gave it to somebody. I don't know. Scott, you can remind me there. And the medallion has a creature's head on it. It's old, but it's what was keeping Kyrus locked in. Kyrus immediately comes out, and then he talks to him. This is where you get an admiration for Kyrus. He runs to help his friends without donning his armor or grabbing his shield. So he heads out into the foyer, begins the battle, helping Godorak fight the priest and Innocence. So this was complete chaos. It was a long battle that ended up being well received by the group. Very awesome. And at the end of the battle,
go ahead.
Theron, is everybody's there. Oh, what happened? Was it at the end of this episode? Give me 1 sec. Let me just.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking with. No, we went back to the inn at the very end of the episode.
Yep, you went. But it is you guys rolled outside to chase the priest. You noticed the guards outside.
Yeah, that's right. Because I got him like as he was running away with like an attack of opportunity or something like that.
Correct. He was trying to flee.
Yeah.
He realized that
game's up.
Were going. Yep. So, did you guys? I don't know if it was this episode or the next where you go into where Simbir goes into the other side of the inn.
Other what?
The other side of the inn and finds everybody dead, including the.
No, it's the start of the next episode, I think.
So I'll cover that. But I know Theron does show up.
Wait, because
Lord
25 was live though.
Oh, 23 is the next. So we're on 22 still.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. So if
So Lord Degarius shows up here at the very tail end of this, and you look up. Now, this is where we, at the end of the episode, you and I, we were trying to record the concept of innocence, right? And we lost the recording.
yeah,
So innocence is a homebrew feature of mine, and it's
I thought 24 ended with us
we're on
going
22
out
still.
on 20. No, 22. We're still looking at the map at the end of the episode.
Ah, you're bad. You just finished your battle though.
I don't think
Yep.
so. No.
Yeah, I'm on 22.
Yeah, I'm looking at 22 as well, and we're still like in the inn halfway through the
Yeah.
episode. Oh
Yeah,
wait.
that's where the battle.
Oh wait, I'm a
takes place.
doofus. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong. I'm so dumb. Okay.
Okay.
So if I
All
go
right.
there, that's 21.
So
Episode 20. Okay. Okay.
this is where we're going to talk about innocence, right?
Yeah.
So I love this creature I created. I based her loosely off of a relentless slasher. All right. So it's it's actually, and this is the weird thing, and I have permission to talk from my wife, so I'm gonna I'll be able to talk about it. But my wife's a retired vet, right?
Hey, it's Flag Day.
Medically discharged, has some PTSD from that, and part of that, she has trauma, and the therapist she goes to talks to her about different inherent personalities the body creates to save itself and protect itself, right? And so, and it's a newer concept that a lot of people go through, but in that concept, they were talking about her innocence, right? And she could see in her state that her innocence was a little girl, but there was always a protector behind innocence, right? And it was a darkness and evilness that was behind innocence and her innocence there. So I took that and kind of combined it into one character, right? Innocence is perfectly fine until somebody does something to her. And that's where the bad comes out. But innocence also tends to rub people wrong because she's blind and she doesn't know properly. She's been blind her entire life. She's been that way. So you look into a relentless slasher, you look into some of the things that what made them what made them a relentless slasher, right? What is their origin?
Mm-hmm.
So were they left for dead? Were they was it contained an evil entity, right? What happened? What there was something there that caused them to become who they are. And then there's certain methods that are tied to kill. So, there's different things in different places I was taking this with her. And part of me wanted her to get away to kind of reappear in the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hypothetically there are different ways of making something like this reappear in the future. But I also took that and then also added an extra layer as the priest of Asibus being her keeper, right? So they were a team of dark evil assassins that have been paid and hired by fiends to hunt Kyrus down, right? That was the gist of it. And so innocence was born of trauma and ill will to her,
Mm-hmm.
which she will reenact back upon people if they issue it upon her. So
Did
the
you ever
reality is,
play the video game Fear, Fear?
I did. Absolutely.
So you remember the little girl Alma Wade in that one?
Oh yeah.
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 It made it fun. And my favorite part about this, we were raided just as that combat happened. And the groups that raided our game, they freaked. They were loving it. They
Yeah.
loved Innocent. So it came out
That was good
very
times.
well and was well received that way. So that's definitely one of my favorite episodes because of how everybody reacted. And
Mm-hmm.
this is also where I went, oh, I can find things in the players in Monster Manual, everything out
Mm-hmm.
there. There are some creatures you guys, again, we'll talk about it later for one of our other sessions. But there are very few creatures that most of us have not ran into,
Yeah.
since we've been playing this game
For
so long.
decades. Yeah, exactly. And so
So
you get
that's
excited every time we run into something that we've never fought before. I know that.
absolutely because
Yeah.
it's fun to see, and this is my favorite part. It's not that you guys are having to think about, oh, this is just a kobold, I'm going to step on it.
Right.
It's a banshee.
Yeah.
I'm going to step on it. I know how to beat him, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that it's your faces when you bring something new out that you're like, oh, I've never seen this before, or I've never seen it played this way before. The party's genuine reaction is what I truly get excited for in this. So it's been awesome that way to see that happen. This episode here made it awesome because that's when you guys and Sean said it best is I'm an evil bastard, and that's what he loved about it right there is I really think crazy things up for you guys, and it made me happy to hear that. So that was the end of episode 22.
Mm-hmm.
23 is our second live session, right? We got not we
Yes.
you got new
Yeah.
toys
I got
help us,
toys. Yes, I did.
to help us better.
It was my birthday
So
too. That's right.
it was your birthday.
Yes.
It was new toys to play with. We set up in your house,
Mm-hmm.
and we got this session going.
And it was pretty
This is
raw.
where
It was pretty raw, but the sound. Mwah.
yeah, the
Yes.
sound was very clean, crisp, and clear. It was pretty. It was raw, but we had
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Yeah.
So here's. Let me get a drink real quick.
No, you're good. I'm gonna get one too.
Here's the beginning of this session. Lord Daguerria basically says, "I welcome the fact that you guys have helped clean my city up, but you're all in Nexus for devils. I'm gonna get you out of here. But I am aware, as well as Abakaya, of who you are and why you're here. I am going to slightly prompt you to do something, right? And this is where Nenny had his fun. He was
Mm-hmm.
able to fly on a hippogriff,
That's right.
right? So the task that was given to the party was to fly up all the way up. Let me pull this up here because I'll be able to tell you the mountains here. What's the name of that mountain?
Are we looking in like Stoneland?
Yeah, so you're still at Stoneland at that mountain peak right there. If you zoom in there to the blue dot, that
Yeah.
mountainside right there.
This guy.
Yep, you guys had to fly up to that
Mhm.
very. Keep scrolling in.
I can't.
Oh, okay, so not that one, but you got to go back more. The big mountain right smack dab in the middle of the white.
Oh, this one.
Yes. Yep, the big one, right? Keep right there. That one right there. Yep.
Cool.
So that is they're the Mystic Mountains, or what they're called, right? And that mountain peak in the Mystic Mountains is where the Titan's Gate is at. And if we go back to the very first Lore Masters Nook, where we talked about the concept of the world,
Mm-hmm.
That is where you have the two titans facing each other, kind
Mm-hmm.
of looking like the sphinxes in the
Never
never-ending
ending story.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they're at. You guys flew up to a cliff face that was at the base of that, right? So the gate was higher up from where you guys were at. You landed there, and you were immediately attacked by, of all things, flying kobolds,
Hmm.
winged kobolds, right? So you guys dispatched them pretty quick. But again, the reason you're here, you were sent to go to Lord Hyperion's tomb, and you were looking for his armor. Yep, that's kind of what they look like. There,
Mm-hmm.
imagine a wall, just stone in between those, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but you were sent up to find Lord Hyperion's tomb and battle it out, or find his armor and sword and whatever else you could find. So you land, the group fought winged kobolds, dispatched them pretty quickly. My favorite thing happened, and it will always be my favorite thing, and I'm going to continue to think of unique ways to hit you guys with fire traps, because
That's right.
Sibir always getting flambéed. That's my favorite part about it. It's like fire trap, Simbir, it's your
Didn't we
thing,
try and
right?
move out of the way? And like he's still.
Oh, you guys all got out of
Yeah.
the way. He was still going in there. He passed the check. He
Man.
found the first trap. He found the first trap. You got to give him props for that. He found the first trap, which was a pressure plate,
Yep.
but he didn't find.
The second
Oh,
trap.
and that's my favorite part. As Nenny says, the whole team knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everybody knew something was happening.
Oh, that's right, because we saw a trap, and Simbir's like, I'm gonna disarm it, and then he was like, clear the room, because like we all know that he rolls lots of ones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he found the pressure plate, right? And then he critically failed looking for the flame trap. So in his eyes, there's nothing there. He's like, "Hey, we're good." And he goes to pry the ruby off the statue's head, and that ignites the flame trap, and he gets burnt. So we're going to continue to have fun. I'm going to figure out more unique ways to flambe Simbir. It makes my day when he gets flambéed. So that happens, and as you come around the corner of that, the noise made the kobolds appear, and they were led by a lizard queen. And the battle takes place. You dispatch the kobolds pretty quickly, but you also find out that a lot of kobolds can actually hit you guys for some damage if you're not paying attention. So that you're right, Nenny. He definitely does. Scott, you're right. Simbir does just want to look like they're in a time. Dispatch the kobolds pretty quickly. Take some damage while you're doing it. Nothing like deathly, right? And then and then Kyrus gets the lizard queen to yield. And he talks to her, and she provides some input and guidance on the tomb. And that, as you start approaching the tomb, you see a lot of undead. A lot of undead.
And
walking
wasn't there? That's the end of episode 23, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then go ahead.
And then we roll into episode 20.
And there was an aside with Galley at the beginning, right?
Yes, there was an aside with Galley at the beginning of episode 20. So all the other characters had a dream state way earlier. I forget the episode where you were giving the grace of the gods, right? That is, as we've talked about, it gives you guys an ability to reroll any one per session.
Once per session.
Right? Once per session.
Yep.
But it is a gift. And if you act recklessly, you will eventually lose said gift. And that gift that gift loss can happen or help in a couple of ways. So in Galley's aside on this, he has his dream state because he was found having issues before you guys left. He was poisoned, right? He was poisoned in the battle with Innocent, and so he stayed to get made whole by Daguerrea.
Mm-hmm.
And while he was in his poisoned dream state, that's where he got the ghost of the gods. And then he came, and then Daguerrea sent him up.
Yep.
You guys were already entering the cemetery as um, Daguerrea arrived,
Mm-hmm.
as Galley arrived. So, oh, whoa, where's that one coming from?
You okay? I can't hear anything or see anything.
I was playing the intro from episode 26
Oh.
for some reason.
Cool.
So, get into the dream state here. So as the party enters the cemetery, there is undead galore.
Mm-hmm.
Zombies and skeletons and shades, wights, and there is a creature pacing on a dais in the middle of the cemetery, the tomb. And that's a mummy lord. And that mummy lord is dirty. Insect plague, man. He hits you guys with that.
I remember that. And Godorak couldn't regain any of his abilities from a short rest, any of his combat superiority die.
So Godorak was
right.
cursed from 2 episodes prior, right? And couldn't do a short rest, couldn't do a long rest. He kept having the same recurring nightmare, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watching his wife and child murdered. And he's reliving this thing that he saw in his past.
As this fight's breaking out. Yep.
Yeah. It just, he could not, he would get to sleep and the same nightmare would happen. He'd wake up, crying, sweat, fall back asleep, wake right up, and kept disturbing his sleep continuously. So Godorak's hampered. He's not doing too well here. Everybody's battling it here at the cemetery. We have our divine sorcerer deciding he's going to be a tank for some reason. I don't know why. Kyrus dispatches undead pretty quickly, pretty easily. So do you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes hog wild. The undead are just more nuisances to you guys. They do damage, but they're just nuisances.
They're fodder.
Yeah, they're fodder. And then, but as Galley got closer, when he got really close, he got hit by 2 wights.
Yep, who were flanking that mummy lord.
Yep, they were protecting that mummy lord. Galley didn't see him, failed his perception checks. The wights slide up. They get into a combat. They hit him. One was a critical. The other one was a normal hit, but it killed him.
Yep, like dead. Wait, I forget. Was he down or dead?
He went dead.
Oh yeah.
He became a spirit and was now under the mummy lord's control.
He attacked us, didn't he? Yeah.
It attacked you guys. He went up. Kyrus left him alone, right? Kyrus is like, yeah, I'm not killing my homie, and walked over to Danny. Godorak said, I'm killing my homie, right? He basically had no choice. Right?
Yeah.
It was
he came up to me and started swinging, and I was like, okay, fine.
I got to do what I do. It's when he. So the battle's happening.
Yeah.
You end up getting to the mummy lord, defeating the mummy lord, defeating the 2. Actually, you end up defeating the mummy lord, not the 2 wights. But
yeah. Everybody.
Control over all the undead dissipates, and they all collapse. Bones, bodies, wights and fades disappear. All that stuff. When you killed the spirit or the soul of Galley, the grace of the gods yanked him back into the body and basically allowed the group seconds to revivify Galley.
Yes, that's right. But he lost the
And
gift, right?
yep, there was
Yeah.
the best part about this is there was a lot of back and forth going on for minutes of whether or not those
Oh,
400 gold diamonds should be used on Galley,
I remember that.
right?
I remember
And
that.
yep, Nenny's like, Theron's like, hey man, this guy's a chump. He hasn't included me. I haven't been part of the circle with him. He's always ignoring me. Type scenario.
He's
Nenny, what do you
new.
think?
Yeah.
And Nenny's like, we need to heal him. They con- they're still talking, and I'm looking at the clock, and finally I start doing the countdown. 10,
Mm-hmm.
9, 8, and all of a sudden Theron goes, I set the diamonds on him. I cast Revivify. It was like we were literally 7 seconds away from
Mm-hmm.
Galley being dead,
Oh, and you
right?
forgot a little. Somebody popped up in this encounter as well.
Oh yes, this is also where we met Mintra.
Mm-hmm.
Our oh yes, that's right. Nenny did ask Kyrus if we should revivify it. Kyrus said yes.
Yeah.
But
Go
we
to her.
also met Mintra. This is where Nick joined the group.
Mm-hmm.
So our party grew again. So Mintra was a gnomish bard whose gnomish airship crashed up by the Titan's gate. And he ended up being found in a grave here, right? And he's a he's a short, tiny little fella, right? But really kind of endeared himself pretty quickly to the group, um, pretty fast. It was kind of like he was everybody's buddy because he's the bard, right? I think personally, Kyrus befriended him because he wanted somebody behind him playing his theme music everywhere he went. That was my thought process behind it. So we finish up the episode. In that, you received Lord Hyperion's sword, which is just nobody
Kyrus
has
did.
identified,
Yeah.
and you received his plate mail. If I remember correctly, you also received a spell book as well,
Mm.
and some gold and other things.
Wait, so he was like fighter wizard, like able to do both?
Yes.
Ooh. So it
So
was a stud.
yeah, he was a stud
All right.
in real life. He was a bad A, and then he was a bad A when he was dead. So that was the end of episode 24.
Mm-hmm.
As we start at the end of episode 24, this was the cool part. I forgot the complete end of it. Everybody gathers the equipment together.
Mm-hmm.
And just as the final item, which was the spell book, was grabbed and held, the entire party kind of got a little woozy and felt everything fade out. And then all of a sudden, everything faded back in. And they appear on a road in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of a rainstorm, not knowing where they're at. And that was the end of episode 24. Now, at the beginning of episode 25, Nenny is the one that kind of pinpoints based on some locations. Like, I don't know how the heck he did it. A really, really good roll um, of pinpointing where and he realized, and everybody realized, and they still weren't sure, but you were literally transported.
What?
You were transported across the world.
Oh, okay. We were transported across the world. You said.
Yep. So
Nice.
if you look at the map and you take Badajana out, and we go to Eiclador.
The sibling isles.
So yep, you can go off the Sibling Isles if you want to.
Okay.
You were found. Let me pull up my map.
We on the North Island or the South Island?
Oh, you guys didn't end up in the islands. You ended up
Oh.
in Ecuador. So,
Oh, hold on.
yep, we'll need Ecuador up.
Oh, where are you, Ecuador? Here we go. Boom. There we go. Cool.
There you go. So, right where it says Alien Abbey, zoom in.
Here.
Yep. Yep. You zoom in closer to that area.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just the delay. Yeah.
Perfect. So, if you go north of Alien Abbey, the party was outside of a city, a little, you want to call it a city. It was a town called Spirewitch. And there's Spirewitch, and then there was the Duke's Castle, right? So the Duke's Castle was on one end of the road. The town of Spirewitch was at the other. The group has their discussion, meets a very, very crotchety old man at the gate. They end up getting through the gate, was guided to an inn. I'm trying to figure out where we're at here.
Yep.
I got to go in and put synopsis in on the YouTube channel.
Nah. Yeah, because this was after Mintra had his little episode, right? Yeah.
Yep.
He had a flashback.
Mintra had his episode to
Mhm.
get the grace of the god as well. Grace of the gods as well. And as we get into the town, you find an inn.
Mhm.
You remember the inn's name?
No, but I remember I left on because somebody told me to get out.
Yeah, we'll get to there because as you arrived at the inn has a golem as a bouncer. Floating armor is the bartender. Little heads that appear on the tables as you order. You introduce yourselves, the group did. I think it was Mintra introduced himself to the proprietor of the inn, which is his name was Flavian.
Mm-hmm.
And Flavian is obviously a magic user, very powerful from what you guys could tell, with how he had everything kind of going on. And he negotiated room and board for the group for him performing.
Mintra did, right?
What's that?
Did Mintra do that? Yeah.
Yep, Mintra did that.
Godorak had backed him up. Well,
Godorak backed him up, and then he was going to tell a story too about dragons in the astral plane. Because what everybody doesn't know is Simbir and Nenny have been telling the story. So the group doesn't know that this didn't happen. But Nenny and Simbir have been telling the story that they defeated a green dragon in the astral plane. So that story's been going around. They've been wanting to tell it and get it out there. I do think if I remember correctly, almost everybody made their insight check and know that Nenny and Simbir are full of crap, but they just let them still tell the story. But at the end, two green dragons. Two green dragons in it. So at this part is where I know you do. Sorry, Siri was telling me she needs to please. I don't know why she was telling me that, but she just told me that. Anyway, Gally's trying to talk to Nenny. And he excludes Theron in him pointing out the different party members. And Theron had enough. He just dropped 400 gold of diamonds, revivified him, and he was done. And Theron basically brought Spike out
Yeah.
right behind, pulled Galley out of the circle of trust, called Spike out right behind Galley. Spike blew, burnt the table, which the party is known for burning tables now.
Yes.
Burnt
The burnt
table.
You know what? We got to, when we retire as adventurers, we definitely have to have open up an inn called the Burnt Table.
Oh, I wholeheartedly plan and want you guys to do that. It will become lore in Verifar. Wherever you guys put it, it will be world renowned for you. So, burns the table, burns the wall, causes a damage to Galley, and Flavian gets, and the patrons, everybody takes off because a flaming wolf just appeared and caused damage. So everybody takes off. Mind you, Fairy Fire was cast on the golem outside. This was like the first rave ever here, right? Like, it was a rave. Music was thumping. Mincher was singing songs. People were coming in because the golem was lit up. And this is where Flavian told you guys to get out. And Godorak goes, all right. And he takes off. Godorak's like, I'm not going to fight this guy. We did damage.
I'm going to do what he says.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
Lord Kyrus, on the other hand, continues to drink and says, no. And let me see if we can find that roll. Because there it is right there.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's find it.
Wasn't it Christmas?
So he tells him, Lord Kyrus basically sweet talks his way in. He already had a high difficulty to try to do it. He gets guidance, and somebody blessed him, right?
No, Mintra gave him Bardic Inspiration. He got an 8.
Bardic Inspiration. Oh, yes.
He got the 8 on a D8.
Truth, and it had hit most of the tavern.
Yeah.
That's the other part. So one, Lord Kyrus couldn't lie. That's the best part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got what's 18 plus 8, 26, 27. He got a 29.
He was the first 29 the groups rolled.
Yeah.
And he got a 29 on his persuasion check. So, at that point in time, the guy's like, cool, you can stay, but go to your rooms. Like, you guys got sent to your rooms type scenario. And we will talk in the morning. And that was kind of an epic roll, and that's kind of how we finished that night. And we are going to have to resume a session.
All right. I think we're almost caught up. We've got what? We've got 26 through 31. Yeah,
so
yeah.
5 more sessions. I don't have the
time. No, you're totally cool. Totally cool. Yeah. Alrighty. So if you're here, hit that like button. You can subscribe if you want. If you love the content, we'll be coming up with some cool stuff with the channel. We just hit affiliate a couple weeks ago, so we're getting all the cool stuff added. If you want to go watch the campaign in its entirety, check out the link to the YouTube down below if you're watching us on Twitch. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, and we will see everybody next time. Later.
Hey, before we go, we have a shortage of people this week. So
yes.
We are running reruns on Thursday night. We're going to do a rerun of the latest episode.
I got to figure out how to do that.
Last week's episode. So Josh is going to figure out how to do that for us. But we were going to run that episode, so we will not have a live session this week. We will have a rerun.
Yep.
Next week will be another Lord Masters Nook. Hopefully on Tuesday if you can.
Mm-hmm.
And then a session on that Thursday. It's going to get a little chaotic and a little crazy because we're all going to be starting to do some traveling here as things are opening up for work because
I got a new job. Woohoo!
Yep. And then I am actually going to be traveling on the 30th. And so I will be running the session on the 30th from my hotel room in San Jose.
Good times.
So, um, again, guys, everybody who's watching, thank you so much. Thank you for helping drive us to affiliate status. Again, continue to follow, subscribe, do everything. I also, I'm going to get a shameless plug here because as we start deciding on follower and subscriber levels and rewards, I do make dice, and we will be eventually doing a contest for a free custom set of dice. So
Nice.
we will be working on that. But
And those are good odds because we don't have a lot of subscribers. Half of them, or more
Yep.
than half of them, are people who play the game. So
yep,
we're on
absolutely.
the, yeah.
So we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna enjoy this. Again, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time.
See you guys
See ya.
later.